All right, we are here at the Joy Hour podcast today and super excited. Been talking about doing this one for quite a while. My good friend Aaron Windhorn,
That's right.
glad to have you in the Joy Hour podcast today.
I really appreciate it, Tom. It's been awesome so far, and looking forward to it.
All of our conversations that should have been captured on camera. We've had a lot of real talk in the last, how long? How long have we known each other?
It's definitely been over a year.
Over a year now?
We didn't stay in contact for a while, and then reconnected
Yeah.
probably in the last 6-7 months, and just kind of been keeping a conversation going.
Yeah, it's increased throughout the last few months, and I really enjoy our relationship. And I know today we're going to talk over a few different things, but I've always enjoyed learning more and more about your story. And we have some things similar in common, which naturally bring the conversation real quick to real talk. But we just simply met Mod Pizza and had a few-minute conversation there. And then we bumped into each other at the local Joy Hour event, which is awesome, of course. We'll probably have a little time to talk about that. But I've enjoyed the times at the coffee shop, the times grabbing lunch together at a taco truck, and then, of course, our phone calls. So thank you for coming in today.
No, I appreciate it. It's an honor, actually.
Yeah,
Been looking forward to it. So
me too. And I know today, naturally, what will happen is I'll learn more about you. And they call me Talkative Tom, which I'm working on, but I will try today to do more listening than talking. But I'd love to, learn more about you myself and hear your story wherever you want to start. That's up to you and what you have to talk about, what's on your mind today. But, overall, we are both of like mind in using some of what we've been through to encourage others in any way we can and just being real, being authentic. And so I'll turn it over to you.
all right, I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll start kind of briefly on childhood. My dad wasn't really in the picture due to some physical and mental abuse and some other stuff. And so I was raised by my mom and two older sisters, and that was pretty brutal growing up. Kind of always wished I had a brother or whatever, but I made it work. Got into a lot of trouble as a kid. Obviously, acting out because of the abuse and all that, and um, ended up in group homes and foster homes because my mom couldn't take care of me or handle me, I should say. Um, Ended up moving back home probably in high school, or left the home probably when I was 12 years old, and returned home my junior year in high school. Moved back in with my mom, and that's kind of when I just discovered drugs and alcohol. Drinking at school, getting with the wrong crowd, and looking for something to feel normal because I never felt normal as a kid. And, some kind of resemblance of acceptance, I guess I would say. And, when I found alcohol, I kind of found peace. I felt like I can be myself or kind of invincible. And, that alcohol and drug addiction kind of went down bad place. I was in and out of trouble with the law, couple DUIs, um, domestic violence with my girlfriend at the time, and attempted sobriety because I was court ordered to. Wasn't necessarily ready, but probably the second time that I had got in trouble with the law, I decided to give sobriety a chance, and went full into it, and managed to stay sober for 5 years, and I quit doing what worked, um, and then eventually found myself drinking again, and spent probably 8 years of literal hell out there, causing more wreckage and destroying relationships, um, and then 2013, um, ended up back in the court system, another DUI, and this time my interaction was on videotape. Like, I always knew I had a problem because when I drank, I was a blackout drinker, and I always would do any drug that was put in front of me when I was drinking. And I'm kind of grateful that there was fentanyl wasn't around yet, and nobody that I was around had heroin because I probably would have done it, and things would have probably been a lot worse. But I don't know. I throughout my drinking career, I kind of you know did the geographical change, switched what I was drinking, and nothing. Tried to do the controlled drinking, and nothing's really worked until I found recovery. And so 2013, with that second DUI, it was on videotape, and I was in the police station, and I stood up, and the officer tried to push me back down, and officer came up behind me and tased me in the back, and I punched the officer in the head, and then he backed up and shot me with the taser. And seeing myself in that light of that I didn't know I was capable of, like when I got out of jail, I mean, I didn't know what happened because I was in a blackout during all of it. So all I knew from my attorney is that you got a DUI, you're looking at a felony assault against a police officer, and so I got out of jail, and my attorney had gotten the videotape, and it was the definition of true comprehensible demoralization, seeing myself in that light that I don't remember, and it's pretty scary. And so I decided to get sober again. Of course, I knew the courts were going to make me go to treatment again, and I was angry about that because I knew that recovery worked for me, and that's what I needed to do. But I quickly turned it around, and I took it as an opportunity that I've been through treatment before, and maybe I can help somebody else that's never gone through it before. So that was kind of like a light switch flipped in me, and I learned the value of helping other people in turn because it helps me. And so that was 2013. So April 28th of 2013. So next month will be 11 years.
That's awesome,
No
man.
drinking or drugging.
Keep it up.
And yeah, so that's just crazy. And so the longer I stay sober, I kind of go and I choose to help other people because I know the value in it. Like, I can't keep what I have without giving it away. And so, whether it's through, recovery or joy hour, connecting with people, I love giving back.
Well, I know you give back in other ways. The health, and I'll let you talk on that. Don't want to steal your story from you, but the little bit I know about that with the walks that you do with others in the community, prove it.
Mm-hmm.
and what it's done for your personal physical health. And we are very complex people, all of us. And so it's mind, body, spirit, and you don't want to just be healthy in one of them and deficient in the others, right? And I think life is all about that continued balance, which in doing volunteer work, it does keep us with those arrows pointing out and not just looking at myself all the time. And so just touch on that with the Prove It and with the health and what all, you know what I'm talking about, just the things that you've personally experienced, not just the sobriety and almost 11 years of no alcohol, but what other parts of recovery and ongoing work are you doing for yourself, and how does that relate to working with other people?
Okay, yeah, for sure. So I'm still a big dude, but at my highest, I was 429 pounds.
That's big, yeah.
Yeah.
429.
I was
Okay.
429.
I thought my 280, 285 was a lot, but
Uh,
okay.
I mean, I was a skinny kid up until 10 or 11, and then, you know, food was another addiction,
Right.
and I started putting on the weight. And my senior year, I was 298, and
And how tall are you?
I'm 6'2", 6'3",
Okay. Okay. So you got a little-
6'3" on a good day.
yeah.
But yeah, I kind of stayed around 308 pounds for most of my adult, and then I was in construction for 15 years, 20 years, and ended up hurting my back, and then having back surgery. So I was not able to work for like 10 years. So that's kind of when my weight kind of ballooned and shot up to 429, and I had the opportunity to become a longshoreman, and I was going through the training. At that time, I was 400 and probably 18 pounds, and I was pretty miserable. And I was like, if I'm going to do this job, I'm going to need to lose some weight. And I happened to come across a TikTok that was talking about drinkable ketones.
Okay.
And the guy was saying, he had lost 30 pounds of body fat on it. And I was like, why not give it a shot? And so I started drinking ketones, quickly lost 100 plus pounds. And at that time, I was in a pretty dark place. I got wrapped up in, going down the rabbit hole about politics, just because I wasn't happy where my life was. So I was looking for outside things to kind of fill a void. And I lost a lot of friendships over what I perceived to be trying to save other people, you know, by getting them to like wake up to see what was going on. And I was just in a bad place. And, looking back on it, I see that I was, just trying to fill a void. I mean, at this time, I was still sober. So, I mean, I have the 12 steps. We both know that those make a huge difference in our lives and changing the way we think and who we are as a person. And, recovery, it talks about some may need to seek outside help or, different avenues. But, when I found ketones and I was losing the weight, it kind of changed my whole mindset about everything. Like I got out of that rabbit hole. I was dedicated to my health, and and early on when I started drinking ketones, I was looking for a way that I could hold myself accountable and try to get other people involved. So I came up with an idea of starting a walking group, and that's kind of been flourishing. It's been going for a year and a half. Started at like October of 2022, and it's open to everybody. whether people are drinking ketones or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a way to get people out and active and, you know, find their better wherever that looks for them.
Yeah.
Um, and then through that, I had a nonprofit reach out to me that was looking to team up with the walking group called, National Alliance to End Veteran Suicide. And I'm not a veteran, but I definitely support the veterans, and thought it was a great idea to team up with them and raise money for a good cause.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of current, and I do a lot of social media and do content that relates to like mindset and try to inspire others to be better. And through that, it keeps me in the right place,
Mm-hmm.
mentally and physically. So
It's got me thinking about that period of time where you mentioned about being real into politics, and it sounds like maybe you're even working on swaying other people's opinions, and this is right or this is wrong, and very adamant probably about your view.
very much so.
But you implied there that a lot of that could have been because you internally weren't real happy with Aaron. You weren't really in a good place personally, and so you took that focus onto that. And I think so many times in life that's what addiction really comes down to, is you get addicted to something where you find some peace, as you mentioned earlier with the alcohol, or you find some sense of security or a safe feeling in in a person's addiction to, whether it's alcohol, whether it's politics. I haven't talked about that one much, but we talk about addiction to food, talk about addiction to money, addiction to work, and so if we're out of balance, we're not a very pleasant human to other people in our lives, and we do destroy relationships, whether it's destroying them because of alcohol or destroying them because our opinion is so strong about political views that we walk in a room and people are like, oh, great, there's Tom again. He's going to be talking about this, and his way is the right way. And when I see that in others now, because of the 12 steps and so much personal work that I've been doing, when I see that, it does make me think how I used to be. And I wish that wasn't the case, but it did happen. But it is, you see it in others too. And I think the 12 steps are for everybody. I think no matter what you've been through in life, I said something once about everybody needs rehab, and maybe they don't need to go check in for 30 days, but there are ways to rehab yourself. There are behavioral changes programs that are free and right next door to you. We offer one here at our company once a week, and it's anger management. And it's hilarious to talk to people, and they're like, "Oh, I don't struggle with anger." I'm like, okay, cool. Hats off to you. And they'll be the person, honking their horn and screaming at you tomorrow, or screaming at their wife or kid or something. And I've been there. I mean, I can say from experience that most of my anger was at myself for not having the disciplines, not getting up when I said I was going to get up, not going to the gym when I said I was going to go to the gym. And then it's easy to focus on, I'm going to talk about politics. Well, mine was construction. I'm going to talk construction because that's the one thing I know I'm good at. I know what I'm talking about. I'm competent. And so people knew me as Tom the builder, Tom the construction guy. And man, I didn't want to talk about anything else because there's a lot of things in life I don't know much about, sports, politics, history. I guess you could say ignorant in a lot of areas. But you get to that point, and I've seen it in you, and it's beautiful. And I think a lot of it's, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of it's probably from working the steps this is me. Yeah. And you get to the point where I'm Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm Tom.
And being okay with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And then what's beautiful is that's when you can really love other people. Yeah. I might have shared with you last week, but a couple months ago, it just finally clicked, is that whole love your neighbor as yourself. The reason I was never really loving with my neighbor, which is anybody I come in contact, I wasn't in love with Tom. I did not love Tom for a lot of reasons. I had a lot of unmet expectations, physically, financially. We have this built up, this is where I'm supposed to be in life, whether it's financial or physical or relational or any of those. And then if we don't get to that benchmark, then we're a failure. And don't talk about your failures, bottle it up and act like you're fine when you're really not. But I love the 12 steps. I think I will continue to work them up and down, left and right the rest of my life, doing inventory, making amends. Um, I think a lot more people need to think about that. Is, you could say I am powerless over alcohol, or I've finally realized I'm powerless over you know anger or jealousy or resentment. Or but you've done the 12 steps for quite a few years and continue to have great groups of people that you work that with, right? Different men's groups. And just talk on that for a minute, like the type of men and relationships that you've established in these past 10 years compared to the previous 10. Like, what's the difference in depth of relationship, and how do you get there with people?
I mean, I think it really starts within ourselves. Like if we can't be able to trust others, um, I don't think it's ever going to work. But it's you can go to mixed meetings and kind of be distracted, or you can go to a men's meeting where there's more people that are most of the people you can relate to. Like most men have the same problems. Um, so it's easier to get honest and vulnerable um, in front of men versus in an open environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've tried to remain tough all my life and not show my emotions because I learned at an early age that if I express my emotion, then I tend to get hurt.
Right.
So, coming into recovery, I had built a pretty tall wall to keep people away, so I wasn't continuing to get hurt.
So on that, like, how would you get hurt? You open up and you're vulnerable with a guy, a friend, right? I got a couple thoughts going through my head here, but what's your first thought on, like, how would that backfire, or how would you get hurt?
Well, not so much as an adult, but like as a child,
Yeah.
when you express some kind of emotion that you're unhappy about, maybe what your parents did or whatever, you get punished for it.
Yeah.
I look back on a particular situation where I had bought ice cream for the family as a kid. I had some money and I bought some ice cream for after dinner, and my sister had finished up her dinner before everybody else, and she asked if she can have ice cream now, and I had said no, wait for everybody. And my dad basically went off on me and took the ice cream away from me and let her have it. And it was like, why? You can wait for everybody else, but um, that was just kind of a situation, or if like a situation was where my dad told me to go play in the backyard, and I was playing in the backyard, and an ambulance with their lights on stopped out in front of the house, and he got freaked out that I got hurt, that I was in the front yard playing, so he called me in the house and proceeded to whoop my behind, even though I was where I was playing where he told me to play in the backyard. So, just stuff like that, you just kind of learn to build walls to protect yourself and not be vulnerable, as an adult. But I've learned that being vulnerable is okay and not everybody's going to hurt you. And so,
One thing I'm thinking about, and it's beautiful you digging up those type of stories, is that in our very busy rat race of a world, I think the way I've been hurt is I've shared a story like that to another adult, just because it was on my mind, because I thought we were having a conversation, because I thought I trusted and he trusted, and maybe right in the middle of me talking about a story from childhood, that person is looking at their phone, or that person's got to go, or that person's like, oh, whatever, dude, it's just some ice cream. And what that does, even as an adult, is like, all right, fine, nobody cares. Like, it doesn't matter. But in these circles, these 12-step programs, the coffee and the lunches you and I have done, even right now in the studio, there is a world of people that slow down enough to say, if this person's lips are moving, no matter what it's about, there's something there. There's a reason for it. And if I'm a friend, I'm going to slow down and let them talk, not finish their sentence for them, not be bored and look at my phone halfway through. And I'm not saying I've arrived and do this. I'm trying to, and even these podcasts and everything we do, I think we're trying to do that. When you're hiking with your group on Saturday mornings, I'm pretty sure if somebody starts talking about a childhood memory, you're in tune with them. You're showing some respect, some kindness, and going, not sure why they're talking about this, but I'm going to listen. And it takes being intentional instead of being so busy with bills and rat race and traffic and jobs and everything. It just takes slowing down and not finishing, people's thoughts for them and letting them, because we did this thing the other night in our anger management, and it said basically, what is a friend? And what a simple question, where I'm sitting there going, or what is friendship? And I went home last night thinking about it even deeper. Like, some people I think are friends, are they really? And then some people I think I'm friends too. Am I really? Because, in a marriage, it's definitely like that. I've been guilty so many times of my wife sharing something and me like, oh, whatever. Wah, 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 wah. But I think that's the part I like the most. I've only been around the 12-step program for 2 years. But it's one of the best parts of my week when we go downstairs into a small room, 4, 5, 6 guys usually, maybe 10 at some of the groups I go, and we do that small share where each person gets 5 minutes to share whatever they want, and everybody else goes, thank you for sharing, right? There's just something about that when you talk, people listen, but then also as the other 9 people in the room take their turn, you hear their stories, you're like, that was out of left field. Okay, that was different, but that's what was on their mind. In their 5 minutes, the once a week or whatever they do, when somebody shares. But I think that was cool how you just jump back to the first memories or some memories there from childhood, because a lot of who we are comes from those first 5 or 10 years of our life and our relationships with our dad or mom or brother or sister. And
I would say that majority of it stems from childhood. I would venture to say and to go back onto your topic of, people kind of listening and, being able to receive that. I think a lot of people just aren't capable because they're so wrapped up in themselves to be able to take on other people's stuff. And some of the stuff that I do, to kind of keep my mindset in the right places, I listen to a lot of podcasts. So you should listen to this podcast.
there you go. The Joy Hour podcast.
The Joy Hour podcast.
Share it. Subscribe. Tell all your friends.
Right. And I listen a lot from Ed Milet. And through my ketone stuff, we do a lot of events. Or the company puts on a lot of events, and it's not, to teach you how to sell ketones. It's all about personal development. So they bring in these high-level speakers, like going to one in April. Ed Milet's going to be there.
Be
I'm
here,
excited about. But I just went to Texas for an event, and there was this businesswoman there named Jamie Lynn Kerma. And she had talked about, actually, I got her book, and I've been listening to her podcast.
Worthy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And she was telling a story about how, a husband and wife let's say you come home, you've had a bad day. This husband and wife got in the habit of asking each other as they walk in the house, hey, are you mentally in a place to listen to me unload? And they both do that back and forth before they just go and come in and unload. And if they say no, then it kind of gets put off for a little bit later when they're mentally in a space to be able to listen.
That's good.
And I just thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I'm single, I'm not married, never been married, don't have kids, but I just think that can definitely apply to any relationship, really, if both people are on the same page. To be able to just up front and ask the person, hey, are you in a place to be able to listen to me unload?
That's really good. I am married, so I'll need to take that home. I got that book in the mail.
Yeah.
Just The Worthy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Worthy's the title. Jamie is the author. And I just got that in. Haven't even opened it yet, but I look forward to that. I think in this, I say rat race, but this busy world, we are all given 24 hours a day. We all make choices on what we do with a lot of those hours. Most of us work 8 to 10 hours a day, so that's not really optional. But other than that, when we have our choice of what we do with our time, and we say things like, we're so busy, I go and I'm working on this. I go to my screen time. How am I doing this week? How am I doing today? What's my screen time on this device? And there's something about the more I use this, the less I can slow down and care about what you're saying. Because you and talking about ice cream, it's not really as important as me getting another job because I need some work for my guys, the construction, okay, what's this? I got an email. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, I got to get back to this person, right? This pays the bills. Me listening to your story about ice cream from many years ago isn't going to pay my bills. It's not relative to Tom's world, but it is important for friendship and relationship, and you matter. And so it is, we need to be more intentional with doing more listening, but everything's very fast paced. Every reel, every social media platform, movies, shows, everything is just. And so, if I'm going to listen to you, but I put the pressure on you to hurry up, say what you're going to say because I need to move on. It doesn't get as deep. And I think back to talking about these 10 years for you compared to the previous 10 years or my recent 2 years compared to the previous many, many years. The types of relationships are going deeper because I'm being vulnerable and transparent. I'm doing better at listening, not to where I want to be yet, but I'm doing that because I'm sober and I'm thoughtful about, and I got right now. We're in the studio. This is what we got, bro. I got plans later, and I know you do too, but that's what we have is right now. And if I can look truly in your eyes as you're talking and know, like, even if the words you're saying and the story you're sharing are not relative to me, they must mean something to you because you're talking about it. And so, yeah, are you in a mind space to listen? Do you have the time to really meet me for lunch?
Do you have the capacity?
Yes.
Would be a better word.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have the capacity?
Yeah.
And especially you got, two people that sit down for only an hour, we probably both have some things to share, but who shares first? And, in a marriage, that's so important. My wife and I have always struggled with couch time. Like, we're supposed to do that. We've made commitments over and over. Hey, we're going to have couch time. Tell the kids, leave us alone for 20 minutes. It's so easy, 20 minutes. And weeks and months will go by, and we're like, we haven't done couch time in 2 months. No wonder we're arguing. No wonder we just blew up at each other. But yeah, we need to continue to work on this. And I think with the hikes you do, which I'm going to join you soon, my Saturdays have been kind of chaotic, but man, keeping those outdoor opportunities. It's something about being outside and really being with others that is very healing, and I think slows us down to hear the birds. For a good amount of my life, I didn't hear the birds. I walked outside, I rushed to my car, I went to work and made a lot of money, and that's what I did. And I started getting sober. And a few months into sobriety, one day I'm walking out in the morning and I'm like, all I hear is like a bird sanctuary. There must have been 50 birds just going at it. And I got to thinking, have they always been there? Probably. I just wasn't listening because I was all about Tom, what Tom needed and wanted that day. It's very selfish. So Arrow's pointing out, doing volunteer work, doing service work. This is our life. This is what we've found is the beautiful part. Now, is our life perfect? No. We got issues, we got stuff. But man, doing these things and working on it, reading and working with small groups and 12-step, it's been very healing. If I was totally unaware of ketones, tell me just a couple high-level things about. I know you lost 100 pounds. I know I'd like to lose a few, but what else is it about the ketones that you'd tell anybody listening about?
I mean, it's not even really a weight loss supplement. It's basically it's a supplement that you drink it within 60 minutes. It puts you in a state of ketosis where you have natural energy, better focus, mental clarity, better mood, better sleep, muscle preservation, and the fat loss is a side effect.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of it allowed, and it's got appetite suppression, so it really helps with not eating too much.
Yeah.
And and incorporate intermittent fasting with it. So I mean, it's a great way to cleanse the body, and it's like I said, I was in a deep dark place, and not necessarily to say it was all about the ketones, but it got me out of that dark place.
There's also a community of like-minded people with it. I think not much different than the gym. I've had years where I don't go at all, and then all of a sudden I go and start going to the gym. I meet some people, and we share discussions about diet. We share discussions about sobriety. We share discussions about parenting as we're lifting weights in the gym together. So you've probably got a pretty good community of people, both in person and then also online these days. How would a person listening to this find you to learn more about it?
All my social media is just Aaron Windhorn, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and reach out if you're interested in ketones. I mean, even if you're not, I love to inspire people.
Mm-hmm. And that's just Aaron Windhorn.
Yep.
Windhorn. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, you've inspired me, and I know we got a few more minutes to keep wrapping here, but I see some of the things you post, and they seem to come at the right time. One little sentence, or you doing the push-ups recently, man. That was cool.
30-day push-up challenge.
Yeah. And
doing 30-day plank challenge now.
Are you? Oh, dude, I hate planks.
The ultimate goal is to hit 5 minutes in 30 days. So 10-second increments each day.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I was supposed to do 2 minutes yesterday, but made it 1:10.
Okay.
But not giving up. Still got to do them today. So
now, when you do the 1:10 instead of 2, do you then later in the day go ahead and do it again for to still get that 2 minutes that day? Is that the idea?
I should.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Starting tonight. Who was I with? I was with a men's workout group a few months ago, and they were doing burpees and push-ups and sit-ups, and it's this 5:30 a.m. outdoor. It's really cool. It's called F3 Nation. So F3 Nation, they're all over the country, all over the world, really, and they meet in the morning, rain or shine, outside, and you're in the grass and on the pavement doing full sit-ups and push-ups and burpees and pretty crazy stuff. But one of the first times there, my son and I were doing it, and these guys are military and way tougher than I am, and they're going at it, and they're doing this routine, and I'm thinking, well, they said we do this for 5 minutes, and then we're going to switch, and so I'm thinking once they're done, because they said how long they're going to do it, and they said the quantity. So I'm just thinking, well, since they're faster, when the time's done, we'll all stop and switch. Well, they got done. And I stand up and ready for the next instruction. They're like, oh, no, you got to finish your quantity. Like, oh, man. So they stood there and cheered me and my son on, and another few minutes went by. We finally finished the quantity. I was like, that's hardcore. I'm not coming back. It's no fun.
I was going to say, I haven't seen no more posts lately.
I know. When I go, I post it. When I don't go, I'm not there. But it's called F3 Nation, and it's faith, fitness, and fellowship. And they just do a simple prayer for a couple of seconds or a minute maybe, and bond together as men. It's a cool group, F3 Nation. There's things out there. There's all kinds of options out there just right around the corner in our communities. We'll talk a few minutes about the Joy Hour. We've done 70 events, had a lot of good relationships come out of that. You've jumped right in with not just being there in person, but volunteering and just whatever the need is, from playing catch with kids to clean up and set up and putting things away, showing up early and staying late. I've seen just a huge volunteer spirit with you, and I thank you for that. The Joy Hour is not about any one person. It's about, hey, you're here now. You're part of it. Let's go. But what are some things you'd tell the audience from your view of what you've seen? What is Joy Hour?
I mean, for me, it's a way of connecting and and a way to, take outside. I'm trying to think of the word, outside distractions out of the equation and just simply connect with people. I considered myself a pretty outgoing person, and I think with, COVID and, I worked through the whole thing, but a lot of people didn't, and we lost that connection with people. And I also truly think that, smartphones are great. They're smart, but they kind of make us dumber as people. And because we spend so much time on them and rely on them. Like, I couldn't tell you, I remember my phone number, but I couldn't tell you anybody else's phone number, So it's like Joy Hour is a way just to simply connect with people. I don't have no kids, but I go just to get back that ability to connect with people on more of a personal level, and make that connection and learn about people, generally care and learn about people. I remember in my early 20s, people used to come to me all the time and talk to me all about their problems. Like I must have had it on my forehead or something.
I will listen.
And then I got to a point where I got really selfish and I stopped listening to people and I just cut people off, and I think it kind of helped me get in that dark place, and so it's just a way to connect with people and meet new people and have fun, stay active. I mean, I may go through the bouncy house, but it's cool throwing the football around and
yeah,
just watching the joy in people's faces and having that connection.
I got to see it in my son's eyes when they were playing football with you. And, at the event, I make it a priority to meet new people if they haven't been there before, make sure they feel comfortable. And so I'm kind of working the room and just being Tom. The golden retriever, somebody called me. I don't know if that's still trying to figure that one out. But I watched as you were spending quite a bit of time playing catch with my two sons and a few other kids. And that means the world to them. Just another mentor in the community that's saying, hey, whether we're doing it for 10 minutes or 2 hours, we're playing catch. And I see you, and you matter, and you're important, you're valuable, because as you're playing catch, you can talk. Hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? Or how's your week going? Or just that eye contact. And last week when we finished, tired. It's a lot of work, set up and all of it, and just ready to go home and take a shower. And the last boy that was there, he's probably 9, maybe 10, runs up to give me a big hug. Thank you. I love Joy Hour. Like, I'll see you next month, you know. And they looked up and he said, you're like a dad to me. I don't have a dad, and you're like a dad to me. And I just about broke. I was like, oh, I had hardly done much with him that night, other than, of course, hugging him. I hug everybody I
Right.
can, right? That was about it. But he probably played catch with you that night. He probably did the bouncy house. He probably did a lot of things. But I found out later, he doesn't have a father figure at all. And that's what really continues to motivate me to raise money for the Joy Hour, to have more frequency of Joy Hours, to put together hikes and outdoor activities. You know, it's all about addiction prevention, of course, addiction recovery, mental health awareness. It hits on all those levels, but it's as easy as a hug. It's as easy as a smile, playing football, saying, you matter, I see you. What do you want to talk about? How are you doing? And then as you build that and weeks go by, months go by, what happens is when you see that same person and something's off, you'll know it's off. And maybe you can dive deep and maybe save a life by saying, hey, I'm here, man. You wanna sit down? What are you doing tomorrow? I got time. You want to meet tomorrow? You might find out you were that voice that kept them from putting something in their mouth or their body that could in their life or do something, and it works. I know that between the efforts of the things you've mentioned and working with veterans and the things we're doing, and I know it saved lives. And what more purpose can a person have than to share stories, to share smiles and eye contact, and truly say, I'm there for you. And I'll close with this, and I know we're going to do more of these and have other topics, but appreciate you last week reaching out.
Not a problem. I appreciate you for reaching out.
It was different.
Yeah.
I still am like, why did I do that? Oh, I shouldn't say why. I know why I did now. But I was having a bad 3 days in a row. And I got on Facebook Live and started crying. A couple people were like, are you okay? Overall, yeah, I was okay. But I wasn't okay. And where's that in between? Where's that line when you're okay, but you're not okay, but then you hear stories where somebody's not here? And we don't need to second guess it. If we see something, say something. And if somebody says something, jump on it. And you jumped on it with a phone call. A couple other buddies and people reached out with a text. And I didn't want to stop everybody's world in the middle of the day and say, everybody call me. No, that's not what I was trying to do. I guess ultimately what happened was I was trying to learn what's it like on both sides. When I'm up, do I notice when people are down? Or am I just too busy with Tom that I don't pick up on how they're doing? Or if they do a cry for help, am I attentive enough to see it, whether it's verbal or Facebook or any other platform that people use? And we're coming up with some ideas to have platform that people can do just upside down, just do a frown face. This buddy of mine has it on his back of his phone, the little thing there. And, it's a smile, just a little yellow smiley face. And then he can just turn it upside down. And anybody he's around knows that he's having a challenging day. Simple. But when I see that now with him, I'm going to know. And so we're working on a place people could just put that if they're going through a rough day. And, one of us will reach back out and just say, where you at? Let's meet. Let's stay on the phone. I love you. You're important. You're going to make it through it. You're going to get through it. And no matter what age it is, we need more of that awareness. But I think you got to know it's safe. If you're going to share and you're going to say something like that, you need to know it's safe. And I knew it was safe to post that. I've talked enough the last couple of years about real talk with people. I think they know Tom's an emotional guy. Who knows what he's going to say? But I don't want the world to just only see me when I'm up and not know that I have struggles and make them feel like, well, we can't talk about struggles because he's always up and Aaron's always happy and Aaron's always fine. But when you show vulnerability.
And that's why I appreciate you posting that, because it shows, there's a stigma that guys don't cry or that they don't show their emotions. And you putting that out there you know, you never know whose life you're going to save by, you know, allowing other men or whatever to see that it's okay to be vulnerable and to discuss what's going on. And, you know, that's my whole reasoning behind posting the inspirational or sharing my journey. It's because if it can help save somebody's life, one person,
Yeah.
then I've done my job. And so I commend you for doing that, because I remember in the post you're like, oh, might take this down. I don't know. And what did I tell you? I said, don't take it down.
I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it up, and it's inspired me to try more, try different ways, because I know people are there for me. But a lot of people, they haven't built that support group yet. Their trust has been broken. Their heart has been broken so many times that the walls are so tall. It's me against the world, and nobody cares about me, and I'm alone. I feel invisible. I feel miserable, but it's just me. Nobody cares. So we are going to continue to, with all of our efforts, make it real clear that there are good circles of people that speak openly, both on camera sometimes, but definitely in small group settings in rooms. So there's lots of options, men and women, but we'll speak mostly to men right now. If you're going through anything at all, find a circle, find a community. And whether you live in Washington or not, guess what? We got Zoom, we got FaceTime, we got all kinds of options to let you know you're not alone. Got a couple successful men in a lot of areas, but we also have real struggles and have hard days, and we talk about those things. So I'm going to wrap it up. I thank you, Aaron, for being on here. Again, if you want to look up Aaron Windhorn, he's got some real positive things that have helped me and helped others. And we'll do another one of these on the Joy Hour podcast. Appreciate you being on here today.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's been a pleasure.
Keep being vulnerable. Be you. Yes. Be open.
Thank you.
All right, man.
Thank you so much for watching today's episode on the Joy Hour podcast. Don't forget to check out some of our other episodes for more powerful discussions. Want to keep up with new episodes? Be sure to subscribe. And as always, we'd appreciate it if you like, share, and comment your favorite part of this episode right down below.